Hey friends, welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey Hallmarkies, welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host Nicole, joined today by my friend Angie to talk about Haul Out the Holly Lit Up, starring Wes Brown, Lacey Chabert, Melissa Peterman, Ellen Travolta, Laura Wardle, and Stephen Tobolowsky. It was written by Chris C. and directed by McLean Nelson. Emily and Jared are looking forward to spending the holidays together again, this time as a couple. They're also ready to work with members of the community to make this year's Christmas festivities the best yet. Welcome back to the podcast, Angie. I'm excited to chat with you about this movie.
Thanks, Nicole. Happy to be back.
Yes, of course. I'm very happy to have you back. Before we get into our review, you got to be an extra on this movie. So do you want to tell my listeners a little bit about that and your experience?
Sure. So those that don't know, I run a Wes Brown fan account on Instagram called Brownies Besties. And so when I heard they were going to do a sequel, I contacted my friends who have been extras in a lot of these movies. They film a lot of these Hallmark movies in Utah. So I said, okay, well, how do I get on the list to be an extra? So, and I had been in contact with some of the actors I've kept in contact with since the first movie when I was promoting it. And also some of the people that live in the neighborhood have also interacted with me on my fan page and talked about the Haul Out the Holly movie and what it's like living in the neighborhood when they're filming. And I also last Christmas visited the real Evergreen Lane and got to meet Amber there and see what it was actually like there. So that was fun. So I applied to be an extra, just like everybody else has to. And I was selected to go do a night shoot, which is the scene behind me, the tree lighting scene. So anyone that knows anything about being an extra, it was just a lot of fun. I got there and you got to meet all the other extras. The wardrobe tells you what to wear. They feed you dinner. And then we had to wait for it to get dark. So once it got dark, we got in vans. Home base was obviously not in the cul-de-sac because there's too much going on there. So we were down about 15-20 minutes away at a church. So they drove us up in vans. And when we got up there, they were about ready to shoot. So we just got right on over there. And we did the first round with the cameras faced one direction and the drones and everything, and we shot the tree lighting scene. And then we went back and waited in a tent while the kids did their scene that they were doing at the tree. And then we went back out and they had changed the cameras around to face the other direction, and we did the scene again. And so just a few little tidbits. The confetti was real confetti. So I came home and I had confetti in in my clothes and stuff. So they shot off those confetti cannons. And then they had to clean it up and then shoot them off again once they switched the camera angles. It was fun to see all the behind the scenes of how that all works.
Yeah.
And then we had to pretend there were fireworks. That was all CGI. But yeah, it was really fun. My favorite parts of it was, as far as watching the filming, was they kind of had Melissa and Steven going back and forth, and McLean, the director, would just say, do jokes about Watergate, and that's the one that made it in, but they were also doing jokes about Star Wars and all sorts of things, and he just would say, do jokes about this, and they would ad-lib. And they did a lot of ad-libbing between Wes and Steven and Melissa, and like just the back and forth was really fun to watch, and we were all laughing. I mean, that was genuine laughing when people are laughing in there. And yeah, I didn't know too much about the Jolly Johnsons because I didn't have a script. We just knew what we saw when we were there. So that was kind of fun, just seeing them do their whole
Yeah.
singing and dancing and being crazy. And I kind of was off to the side, so you don't see me very much. I'm just kind of in the background, but I kind of placed myself where the actors were coming on and off so I could talk to them.
Oh.
And I didn't go out of my way to just go up to them usually, but I did get a picture with Laura Wardle because I've been friends with her. She's a local actor in Utah, so we've kind of corresponded a bit.
That's awesome.
And I did meet the two little girls who play Helen and Nicole, who are Jess and Pamela's daughters. So I got to meet them and their moms, and they were so sweet. And so that was really fun. And then Melissa Peterman, I talked to her because I said hi from Catherine, who runs her fan account.
Yeah.
And I told her who I was, and she actually follows me as well. Her and Wes follow my fan account. So Melissa was like, "Oh, have you talked to Wes yet?" And Wes was just kind of standing over there, like going through his lines. And so she went and grabbed him, and he came over, and he was just so sweet. He gave me a big hug, and he talked to me for quite a while until he was called to do his lines. And he apologized. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "You're doing your job. Go do your lines." But it was really fun. They were just really friendly, and I got to like talk to Ellen Travolta, and she was the sweetest. And I didn't get pictures with everyone because we actually weren't supposed to take pictures. The only way you can take a picture really is if the actor says, "Let's take a picture." So I only took pictures when the actors said, "Let's take a picture." But I did get to talk, and I got to give a big hug to Eliza. So I talked to most of them. Lacey was the only one I really didn't get to meet, but that's because she's very hovered around.
Yeah.
And protected, kind of, which makes sense. So she was the only one. But I also watched her while we were waiting for our vans to leave, which was at like 2:00 in the morning. We were waiting to go back down to our cars to drive home. She was filming the countdown to light the tree for when Hallmark does their countdown to Christmas countdown. So that was kind of fun. I watched her film that. So that's just kind of my experience being an extra on the movie.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing that story. I'm happy for you that you got that opportunity.
Yeah, I was glad I at least got selected for the one day. I tried to go one other time during the Christmas carnival, but I don't think they needed as many that day. So I didn't get chosen, but it was probably okay because I was really busy. But
yeah,
the night shoot that I did was the perfect situation. I'm glad I got to go. So
yeah, I'm glad you got that opportunity. Hopefully one day I'll get to do it too and experience.
Yeah, if you get a chance, definitely do it.
Yes,
it's fun.
I'm kicking myself, and I continue to kick myself for not taking that opportunity when USS Christmas filmed part of their movie.
Yeah, well, it's hard. Like, I didn't know all the ins and outs and who to contact and all that, but I was able to also hang out with another Hallmark fan. A lot of the extras are just regular extras, and they don't even watch Hallmark, or they don't know anything about the Hallmark actors or the movies. And so it was really fun that I met this other lady who was just a Hallmark fan, and the two of us were these big Hallmark fans. So it was a blast doing it with someone else who was just kind of the fan aspect of it. And we knew the actors, and we knew the first movie. And so it was great.
I think I've seen some of her videos. You said her name was Amber?
Yeah, so Amber is the one that lives, her house, the one that the Jolly Johnsons move into, the one in behind me. That's her house. And then the girl I met is Charisse, I think is her name. And she's very sweet. And we still like we follow each other on Instagram. So
that's really cool.
Yeah. Super fun.
Yes. So why don't we get into this awesome movie that is Hall at the Holly lit up with our merry musings, which are our overall thoughts or hot takes. Would you like to go first?
Sure. My favorite things about the movie were a lot of the callbacks from the first movie. And I felt like the chemistry between the characters was even better this time just because they had worked together before. I got a lot of comments on my Instagram that people thought Wes and Lacey's chemistry was amazing. They loved that, which I loved. I loved all the romantic moments between Jared and Emily. Like that was great. And I also just loved the community and how they all came together. And even though the Jolly Johnsons kind of started ripping it apart, that they all eventually came back together. So I thought it was witty and it was funny and heartwarming and all the things that you want in a Hallmark movie.
Yes. I thought it was a well-written script with a ton of comedy and Christmas feels. And what did you think of the Jolly Johnsons?
The Jolly Johnsons were rough for me, especially the first time I watched.
Yes.
Like Jane was just too much, in my opinion, when I first watched it. So I was kind of annoyed. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched, I was kind of just annoyed because I felt like, why are we wasting screen time on these annoying people?
Yeah, I understand.
So it was a little rough just because I wasn't used to, I don't know, it felt like an intruder, but then as I watched again, I realized that they want you to feel that. They want you to feel like they're over the top because they were supposed to be, and that they're kind of an intruder into the HOA and they're trying to ruin everything. And so the first time was a little rough for me. What did you think?
I thought that, in my opinion, they were a little too much as well, but Seth and Jennifer played the roles of Joe and Jane very well.
I thought so too. They were great actors.
Yeah.
One of the extras, it's funny because they must have wanted a tall guy to play Joe, because this really tall guy that was an extra, he came in, runner up to be the part of Joe. He was telling us about auditioning for that. But I thought that the Johnsons played their roles really well. They annoyed us the way they were supposed to, I guess.
Yeah. And I love Jennifer. She's been in a couple of Hallmark movies, and I think she's executive produced some as well. I know she was in Karen and Pascal's Hawaii movie 2 years ago.
Yeah. And she was also on Party of Five with Lacey, so they had known each other.
I've heard that. So, that's awesome.
And she's been really nice on Instagram. She's been really interactive and shared things, and so they're great. I'm sure they're like awesome people.
Yeah, of course.
It was just a lot for me at first.
It was a lot. Ned and Pamela's snarky banter throughout the whole movie, that was, of course, that was perfect.
They are so good. Melissa and Steven are incredible comedy actors. And just the two of them, when they get into it, they have the best. And like I said, after seeing it be filmed, that it's just a lot of ad-libbing that's going on. That McLean just says, talk about this, and then they just go at it, and they're brilliant, and they make the movie awesome.
Yes. And I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit when we get to the particular scene, but gotta say, being postable, I loved the cameo from Eric.
Yes. I thought the part that he played in this movie was awesome, because he got just a tiny little cameo in the first one, but I like that he had a slightly bigger part in this. That was my one regret, because I wanted to go and do the carnival scene, because I knew I had been told that Eric was going to be there by some of the other actors, so I really wanted to. I saw him at Rama Drama. He didn't make it in time for me to meet him and do like a meet and greet with him, but I thought that would have been fun to be on set. But I loved the role he played in that.
Yes, me too. Hopefully one day, maybe at another ramen drama in the future, you will get to meet him, because he is such a kind human being.
Yeah, just being around him and just seeing him interact.
Yeah.
He's the nicest guy.
Yes. And to wrap up our merry musings, I actually wouldn't mind a third movie to see Jared and Emily's wedding and all of the characters again. I think
I
that would
think
be
it would be great. I
yeah.
think it's definitely one with the ensemble cast. There's so many ideas and things they could do with it. And yeah, we got to see those guys get married. That would be
Yeah.
amazing because
Yes.
I'm sure Evergreen Lane could just think of the antics that they could do trying to plan a wedding, a Christmas wedding. So
Yep.
I may be a simple man, but I don't make simple plans. Like when he's planning the proposal,
Yeah.
like I just think how stressed he would get planning a wedding.
Yeah. The name of the movie could be Haul Out the Holly Wedding on Evergreen Lane, maybe. I think I've seen that one thrown around.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think they should look into it because it's
I
a
think
great cast
yeah.
and yeah, I
Yeah.
just think that they're hilarious and we need more comedy movies. I mean,
Yeah.
there's something to be said for a romantic movie, there's something to be said
Mhm.
for a heartwarming or
Mhm.
heart-wrenching or whatever you want to say, but we need more comedy too.
Yeah, I agree. Getting into our holiday highlights, which are the best and key moments. Would you like to share some of yours? Start us off.
Okay. I really like the HOA meetings because the banter between the whole
Yep.
cast in those is hilarious.
Yes.
When Ned wants his Christmas curler,
Rollers.
like, and what does she say? Something about it's not
Pastry gate.
pastry gate. Yeah. Yeah. Just
Uh,
the banter that goes on in those is so funny. And then the fact that they all have all the rules memorized and they're all trying to use the rules to their
yeah.
advantage.
Yeah.
Those are
Mary
hilarious.
Louise talking about snapping.
Oh yeah. Just Mary Louise, like Ellen's stuff in this movie was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
when she's like, "Oh my Jiminy Crickets," and just getting so excited about
The
the
Jolly
news,
Johnson.
and then the rapping thing was hilarious. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was dying.
I love everyone's reaction to Emily not knowing who the Jolly Johnsons were. And Pamela's
Yeah,
like, I thought we were friends.
I know. And then when Jared's like, "I'm sorry that I binged it without you. I thought you would judge me or something." But he's just like all worried because
Yeah.
he's like, "They're so important to me." And she's
Yes.
like, "Okay."
Yeah. And
I just
while
love how quirky Jared is.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And while we're talking about the HOA meetings, the second one, when Pamela is talking to Jane about her
The
great
stocking.
grandmother's stocking, and Jane is like, she should have used a rip stitch because that would have held up better. I'm like, really, Jane?
And then Pamela starts saying, "Well, I didn't really like that grandma very much anyway." So funny.
And then Joe's reaction to how close Ned is sitting, he's like, can you scoot over a little?
And what did Ned say? Don't something about my
First
JJ's.
class. Something about first class
Yeah.
on an
And then
airplane.
when they announced that it was them, he's like, called them the JJ's. He's like, don't joke
No,
about,
no,
I
JJ.
can't remember, something about my JJ's.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'll have to say, when we're talking about Utah references, Utah is the capital of YouTube stars and reality stars and just influencers, the
Hmm.
Utah mom influencer. Like, it's such a Utah thing,
Hmm.
the people who are the big Instagram YouTubers and things. Utah is literally the capital of that. So that was kind of perfect. I did like that aspect of the Jolly Johnsons
Yeah,
because it is a very Utah thing.
yeah. I think I follow a couple of YouTubers, influencers from Utah, and I always enjoy their content.
Yeah, there's just
Really.
a lot of them, so it makes me laugh every time because
Yeah.
yep. Have you? You'll have to check out Jane because she does the
Mhm.
Utah mom stuff, and it's
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
I'll have to check that
So
out. Yeah.
I'll have to send it to you
Yes.
because it's perfect.
Yes. And while we're there, this is one time where we got to hear some cute moments between Jared and Emily. The nicknames for each other. That was adorable.
Yes. Well, I told my husband it's kind of a Utah thing too. Babe, yeah, thanks, babe. You know,
That was adorable. I
so
was
cute.
like,
I love the little
melt
pet names.
my heart in a puddle. Why don't you?
I know. They were so cute
Yeah.
in this movie. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yes. Going back to the opening scene, I just have to mention this because of a funny line from Ned. And it's when he's talking about the theodolite for geological surveying.
Ned's facts are the best.
Yep. And then he's bantering back and forth with Pamela about El Nino versus La Nina. Pamela's like, if I had a meteorology merit badge, I'd pin it on your parka.
I love their lines. So good.
Yep. Yep. Oh my gosh. And then I think we saw this preview clip before the movie aired, but when they're all outside talking about the new neighbors, this is before they get there, of course.
Hmm.
And Mary Louise asks Siri who's moving in, and Siri's like, "The house next door is a 2002 thriller directed by Joey Travolta."
Yeah, that was awesome. The mention of Joey Travolta.
Yep.
Loved that.
Yes. And then the beanies with the no pom poms comment. That
I know, so funny. I loved it.
realizing he didn't have a pom pom on his,
I
he's
know.
like, ah, I gotta get the pom
His
pom back.
little girl scream, it was so funny. He's like, ah!
A sweet moment between Jared and Emily, and kind of comical too, is when he brings donuts for Emily to take to the HOA meeting because he can't make it since he has a meeting with the Millers about their remodeling and needs her to cover for him. And Emily's like, I don't feel like you're prioritizing Christmas. Emily Melrose, the woman I had to citate last year to come to my white elephant party.
I know. I also loved at the very first where he is measuring her nutcracker and he doesn't he doesn't give her a citation,
Yeah.
and then he says, but hopefully I'll get a kiss. And
Yeah.
they talk about how she's like, do you just citate me to give a kiss? Or I can't remember who said it, but they're
Yeah.
talking about her just being punished with kisses for the citation.
Yeah. That was really cute. I liked that too, the little flirty banter between them in that moment.
Pamela talking about their PDA, and she's like, you and
Oh,
Alan are worse.
yeah. Enough with the PDA. You're making me sick.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
The scene with Jared and Jess when they're at the jewelry store. I loved that scene.
Me too.
And
Eliza is a great
yes,
comedic actor as
yeah,
well. So
she is. And I loved when she said, definitely fit for the future queen of Evergreen. I
he's like
could cry just
about to,
thinking about it.
I could cry just thinking about it. I know, I love that.
And then Emily and Jess trying to not give away what Jared is doing by saying she saw him at the grocery store getting lunch at the deli. She's like, oh, I just saw him at the deli. And, Emily's like, I just stocked his fridge yesterday.
I know. So funny.
The welcome for the Jolly Johnsons, Jared's pep talk to himself. It's like, you've got this. You can do it. And then Ned is like, prepare to engage full jolliness. And then Pamela is over here FaceTiming her Aunt Kathy. And then
That was awesome because that was Melissa Peterman's real Aunt Kathy.
Yeah,
So that was
yeah.
her little cameo in the movie. So that was
That
super
was
fun
awesome. Yeah. I remember seeing that she did an Instagram live with
with
her
Aunt Kathy. Aunt
before the
Kathy threw a
movie.
premiere party, and
Yes.
yeah, they were talking about that, how she had a cameo in the movie.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah. And then when the Johnsons get there, Jared introducing himself, that was
I love how quirky Jared is, and Wes
mm-hmm.
plays him so perfect.
Yes. And then the Johnsons talking about the moving truck for decorations, and Pamela's like, "You have an entire truck dedicated to Christmas? Not just Christmas, Thanksgiving, Flag Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Valentine's Day, and even leap year."
Oh, geez.
Oh, too much. And then, of course, the tree lighting, which that was the scene you got to be an extra on. We get Mary Louise singing with some of the kids, welcoming the Jolly Johnsons. You know, the banter between
All
Ned
of that
and
banter.
Jared.
Giving Jared a hard time for it being late the year before.
Yep. You didn't last year. We absolutely lit it last year. 2 weeks late. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
and then
That's
I even
funny.
tweeted this part when Pamela says, "It's a shoes off house, people, so please plan accordingly. You know who you are."
uh, they're so funny. I don't even know how much of that's in the script. I swear they ad lib a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And then the performance from the Jolly Johnsons with their embroidered jackets. And when I say Jolly, you say Johnson, Jolly Johnson. When I say Merry, you say Christmas, Merry Christmas. And Jared's just over here like, uh, I don't
And I
even know.
love how Lacey's like, what is happening?
Yeah, I caught that. She's
What is going on?
he's like, I don't know.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yes.
And their dinner with them.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I just posted this one a little while ago, the NSA. That's
Yep.
hilarious. Like a lot of people wouldn't catch that. That's kind of a Utah reference too, because we
Oh,
have
that's
a
cool.
huge NSA data center in Utah.
Yeah.
And so I love that the NSA, oh, Norwegian
Anna
Santa
Academy.
Academy. So that just
Yeah.
cracked me up.
Joe was the class of '02, and he's like, "What year were you?" "I didn't graduate from there. I've never heard of it."
I know. And then she mentions that Jimmy
Jimmy.
is going to be Tiny Tim. The Hell Center Theater is actually one of the big theaters
Oh,
in
wow.
Utah.
That's really
So I've
cool.
gone to a lot of plays there. My sister-in-law, that sadly has passed away, but she did sets for them. She was a set designer, and
That's really cool.
she built sets for them, and we went and watched a lot of shows. And they do Christmas Carol, I think, every year down
Oh,
there.
I love
So
that. I'm
and
sure it's
Casey Elliott and Casey and Shay that did the Destin
Mhm.
movies on Great
Yeah,
American Family actually perform at Hill
really
Theater quite
cool.
often in plays.
I love
So yeah,
that.
all those nice little Utah references are fun.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a beautiful theater.
It is. It's gorgeous. It's right there in Sandy, which is pretty close to where this movie shot, just kind of one of the suburbs of Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We have a beautiful theater here too. I think I mentioned it last time you were on the Dock Street Theater,
oh
which
yeah. Uh-huh.
that is the place where a lot of the local theater productions happen here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And they put on A Christmas Carol every year too, I think.
That's a fun tradition.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah, my mom and I think are actually talking about maybe trying to go this year. We've never actually seen it at the Dock Street, but that would be fun to do.
That would be. I bet they have it decorated up
Yes.
nice and everything.
Yeah.
So
Christmas in Charleston is always beautiful. All the decorations up and everything.
I've heard that it's a Christmas destination.
Yes. The moment with Emily and Jess, the day after the dinner, when they're talking about how it went and the show Ho Ho House, which of course is what the Johnsons won. And then they run into Jane, literally, like she's standing right in front of them, and Jess tries to leave. That was hilarious. She's like, I
Oh.
have to go. And Emily's like, oh, no, you're not. You're not leaving me here.
And she tried to overtake all the activities that Emily had
Yes,
planned.
that bothered me so much.
Yeah.
I was like, really, Jane?
I know. I didn't like that and how Ned took the side of the Jolly Johnsons. Like that was sad to me because like I love Ned. I'm like, Ned, what are you doing?
Yes. I did like when Emily said, I don't really think Christmas is a spicy holiday.
Yeah.
Agreed,
Just wanted to
Emily.
spice it up. Oh, but that part where the part where Jared and Emily are decorating his tree,
Mhm.
and he's like, if the neighborhood knew we were in the teens of December and didn't have my flagship tree decorated, Scuttlebutt City.
Yep. Yep. I didn't write that one down, but that was hilarious.
Yeah. And then she says, you've got to go give them, you got to go tell them
Mhm.
that they're in violation and to stop. And then he ends up just jamming with them on the guitar. And then that
Yeah.
scene, my favorite part of that scene was
Nickelback
back
reference.
reference. I just love how Jared picks up, he's like, look at this photograph, because that's the song. That's
Yeah.
the lyrics from the song.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you're friends with Chad Kroger?
Chad Kruger.
That
Yeah.
was so funny.
And Jane is like, well, we share a timeshare with him, so yeah, we're friends with him.
It just, that's the one thing that was funny about the Jolly Johnsons is they found all the weaknesses of
Yeah.
everyone and they played to that weakness.
Yes.
So with Jared,
Yeah.
they got him with lighting their Christmas lights and playing the guitar, and Emily, the Nickelback thing. I don't know. They just seem to know everybody's weakness, and they would kind of break them down with their weaknesses.
Yes. And I have to say, Emily was quite ticked with Jared for that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. When she says that the hot chocolate hour is over, or whatever, what does she say?
Hot chocolate hour, I think. Yeah.
When she says, she basically is like, good night.
Good night.
And then they say, I love you. And he's like, are you sure? So,
yeah, that was cute.
That's okay. You got to have disagreements in relationships, right?
Yeah, very true. I've never been in one myself, but I still agree with that. I mean, everything can't be
perfect all the time.
All perfect all the time. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, the singing gnomes.
Oh.
That would be really annoying.
Yeah.
And the music was really annoying.
Yep. And Jared goes over to the Johnson's house to talk to him about the gnomes. And he starts to give him the citation, but chickens out after hearing the Norse proverb, to refuse to bring your neighbor light is to bring him darkness. And Joe's like, I don't think you would want that. And Jared's like, I do not want that.
Then he let him light the house, and
he's like,
oh.
That was priceless.
And
Jingle Jared.
Yeah, and the snowball ambush.
Yep. That was hilarious. Although I kind of feel bad for Jared getting hit in the...
Oh, can we talk about his golf cart, his Christmas golf cart?
Yes.
That was awesome. Like, I love that he had his little Christmas golf cart that he would drive around to stuff. Yes. That was funny.
Yes, that was hilarious. And then the video chat that Jared and Emily have after the snowball fight with her parents, Albert and Gail, talking about it. And Jared is like, I'll never forget the look in Jimmy's eyes It's like he was unhinged, obsessed. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if you've ever watched this show, but there's a show from the 70s called WKRP in Cincinnati. And they did a Thanksgiving episode. I think it was in the first season, maybe. And okay, let me set the scene here for a second. In the Thanksgiving episode, the radio station decides to do a turkey giveaway. And it's live turkeys, literally a live turkey giveaway. And two of the people from the station, I think it's the station manager, Mr. Carlson, and the business guy of the station, the one that I think does all the PR and all that kind of stuff, Herb Tarlick. They're the ones in the helicopter throwing the turkeys out of the helicopter. And they do it at the local shopping center. And the news reporter guy, Les Nessman, he is reporting for the live turkey giveaway in front of this particular store. And that scene is probably one of the most iconic comedic scenes in TV history. And when he's reporting, he's like, something just came out of the back of the helicopter, a dark object plummeting to the earth at such and such miles per hour. And he's like, they must be skydivers. And then, he waits a second, doesn't see parachutes. And he's like, no parachutes yet. Oh my gosh, they're turkeys. Blah, 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 blah. And like everyone starts running around the shopping center and he's trying to take cover and whatnot. And then at the end of the episode, Les, Herb, and Mr. Carlson get back to the station. And Les is the first one that gets there. And his colleagues that were at the station, hearing the news report, they run up to him and they're asking if he's okay. And he's talking about the turkeys. And he says, I'm not even kidding, almost the same words about the turkeys. He's like, it's like they were possessed.
That's so funny.
I don't have the exact line written down, but it was something along the lines of what Jared said. It's like they were unhinged. They were planning an attack. Oh my gosh. You'll have to watch that show because it is probably one of the most comedic, well-written shows in history.
That's awesome.
It's about these people that work at a radio station and, everything that goes on from programming. And it's a really fun show from the 70s. I enjoy it.
That's awesome.
And going back to Haul Out the Holly, because we got a little off track there for a second.
That is okay.
The surprise inspection from Jared and Emily of the Johnsons' home, that huge nutcracker.
Amber posted. Did you see Amber's post about them putting that up at her house?
I haven't seen that one.
She said it took 7 guys to lift that up.
Oh my gosh.
It was massive because that's her house that the Jolly Johnsons live at.
I did see the one where she was filming, I think, from her kitchen.
Yeah. She was showing them like hoist that second part of the nutcracker up there. It took 7 guys because it was so heavy.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, I loved that inspection where they're just writing all those violations. And I loved that it was just Jared doing it in the first movie and then him and Emily are a team in this movie. I love that.
Yeah. And the mention of the white elephant party and, Emily imitates Jane. And then Jane's like, I hope it's not something tacky like ugly sweaters. Actually, it's exactly that tacky.
Yep. The ugly sweater party.
Yep. And then Emily, as they're walking away, she's like, I don't know, but I feel like I'm at the Chuck E. Cheese Christmas special. Because he asked, like, what's going on? Or, I don't know what their deal is. The white elephant party. Now, this is when the Johnsons stop by and they are throwing a Yuletide poetry jam.
That doesn't sound as fun as a white elephant party, to be honest.
I like poetry, but I would completely choose the White Elephant Party with Jared, Emily, and Mary
They
Louise.
had
Yeah.
more amazing ugly sweaters.
Yes. Yep. I would definitely choose that over the poetry slam.
Yeah.
Or
And
jam.
when Emily strips Ned of his duties of the
Yes.
Santa's helpers, so it was
Yeah.
like a reversal of what
Mhm.
happened when he made her a Santa's helper in the first one.
Mm.
It was really sad. I got really
Oh,
sad.
he's like, Viva la resistance.
Oh, he's wearing like a beret or something.
I felt bad for Ned, but at the same time, I'm like, you traitor.
I know. I know.
Oh,
He did it all so he could get his trophy from the cookie contest.
it's not all about winning, Ned.
Oh my gosh. That line at the cookie contest from Pamela,
Yep.
when she tells Helen, she's like, victory isn't the same without seeing the agony of defeat in the eyes of the vanquished.
Backed up.
Awesome.
Oh, and Helen was like, okay.
Yeah.
And
They're,
then
they're fighting
Emily,
over the trophy.
Emily coming in second place, and Nicole was like, well, technically it's last place too.
She's like, hey, quiet.
Yeah. We really didn't get any scenes with Jared and his mom, but the one we did get I thought was really sweet when they were talking about the proposal and
Yes,
his
that
dad.
was so
And,
sweet.
you
Him
know,
asking about his dad proposing, and yeah,
yeah, that was a very touching moment between a mother and a son.
yes, I loved that. It was get you in the fills on that
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
because you know there's always that bond between mother and son, and clearly they kind of, I didn't really know about his dad in the first one. They didn't really mention him, but I was glad that we know that he's passed on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a sweet scene. I like the stuff that she said
Yeah, me too.
about his dad being nervous and tried
Mm-hmm.
to do it several times and failed, but eventually did it. So
Yes. And then Jane wants to get rid of Santa's village for the ice sculpture competition. And I love how Emily, walks up and she's like, I applied for permits of Santa's village in that spot. If you have a problem with it, you should take it up with City Hall. I was like,
Emily, she is taking charge.
yes,
And I loved when they're all helping her
yes,
train for
me
the
too.
Christmas
That was
game.
a sweet moment. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts,
Yeah.
because they're all just teaching her their
Yes.
specialties, and um her and Pamela doing the wreaths and
The
putting them
wreath,
on their face.
she was like, was that an ornament that fell? And like, I'm so sorry.
I know. And then Belinda's helping her with the
The trivia.
with the trivia and
The
to make the
gingerbread.
gingerbread house. And yeah, it was just so
Yeah.
fun. And I loved having her parents come back.
Yeah.
And
That scene, her dad just like completely ignoring her.
he loves Jared, because him and Jared are like two peas in a pod. The presidents of the HOA,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
she's
that.
like with open arms trying to give him a hug, and he just like completely walks right by her.
Oh, and in that scene, the
Christmas at
mom
Graceland.
mentions Christmas at Graceland. She said that's
Yes.
what she watched on the plane. So that was a fun little mention of one of Wes's other movies. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And I love how Gail said, but Albert watching The Art of War killed the mood.
Yeah, because they're at war with the Johnsons. Their list, him and Jared's list, was so funny. Yeah, best.
Oh my gosh. This movie, and of course the first one, I think have made me laugh so hard. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard.
Definitely more comedy than you usually get in a Hallmark movie, which
Yeah.
I really loved, but it's festive. And then
Mhm.
they also threw the romantic moments in there too, but
Yeah.
with comedy.
Hmm.
I loved their Die Hard references. Like, I myself don't watch Die Hard at Christmas, but
Yeah,
I
I've
know a
never
lot of
seen
people
it.
do. So, so I thought it was funny that
Yeah.
both Jared and Albert like loved Die Hard and had those references. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. And at first, I liked the scene. Well, I liked the whole scene, but the second half of the scene kind of bothered me just a little with Jane. And it's when they make peace with the Johnsons and they find a compromise. They've come up with the Christmas games before the carnival. One person from every household will represent their family in wreath making, gingerbread construction, ice sculpting, Christmas cocktail mixing, and holiday trivia. And then Jane calls Emily a Grinch, and she's like, I
Yep.
love Jared's support. He's like, it's okay. It's all right.
Yep. Yeah. She
Oh
didn't
my
like that
God.
because she's no Grinch.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
when he said, "Your heart grew 4 sizes last Christmas."
Yes. That was really cute. His comforting
Yes. They were
Emily.
so cute. I just loved their relationship.
Yeah,
I
me
thought it was
too. Yeah.
adorable.
Of course, Emily challenges Jane for the Christmas games, and she's like, if you win, you can celebrate Christmas however you want. But if I win, you have to go along with everything.
Yep.
Oh.
And I also I really love that when Jimmy,
Yes, I was about to mention
Emily,
that.
Emily gives him the gingerbread house and he brings it home. And the parents, he wants to eat it because Emily said, "Oh, you can eat it." And he says,
He's
his
tired of
parents say,
calling
"Oh
people.
no, we need to study it so we can beat her."
Yeah,
And he
he's
says, "I
tired of
just
correcting
want to go
people.
back to normal before we became celebrities and
Mhm.
just be the normal Johnsons, not the Jolly Johnsons." And
I
I
love.
love that it's the kid who
Mhm.
makes the parents realize they're kind of
Yes.
being
Yeah.
unreasonable or a little over the top. So,
Yeah. He said, maybe you should stop trying to prove that you're better than them. I was like, thank
yep,
you, Jimmy.
yep. Glad that Jimmy, and I love that it kind of shows that him
Yeah.
and Helen are becoming friends. That's
Yes,
really,
that was really.
I like that. So,
We get a sweet moment with Jared and Emily before the Christmas games when they're talking about it and her Christmas surprise while snuggling on the couch. That was
I know it was so cute. I loved that
the
scene. And
forehead kiss. I'm a sucker for forehead
I
kisses.
know they just are adorable. They're so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love the dialogue in that scene and just how sweet they are.
Yeah. And we get to the Christmas games. Pamela is late, but has a great reason, which is Alan shows up with
Yay.
the Evergreen Lane jackets he designed for everyone, but she stayed up all night stitching.
I loved those jackets. Those
Yes,
jackets were amazing.
I kind of want one. Where can we get our own?
I know. Serious.
Hallmark should
I need
sell them.
one. Exactly. We need them. I
Yeah,
love
the
to have the
Hallmark
nutcrackers
store.
on the back and their names.
Yeah, they should do that. They should have a Hallmark clothing line.
Yeah, where you can buy one with your name on it. I want one.
Mhm. Yes.
I'll wear it to the third movie when I go be an extra in the third movie.
Yes. I love when Pamela says to Emily when she's giving her the jacket, even though you're the one representing us today, this way you'll know that we've all got your back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. And then everyone ripping their jackets with the strut down the street.
Yep. It's
That was
perfect.
priceless. Yes. And Alan's welcome speech, I thought that was nice. We already mentioned Eric's cameo, but I love that he got a couple more lines in this movie.
Yeah. Same. I'm
Yeah.
glad he did too. It was nice to see him there and have him be with Pamela, and they're so cute together.
They are, yeah.
And but I also like that Emily decides, you know what?
Back
I'm
out.
not gonna compete. This isn't what Christmas is all about.
Yes.
She gave that speech that was
That was
really
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, and she said she fell in love not just with Jared, but with the neighborhood. And, Christmas isn't a game, it's joyful. She wants a
Yes.
joyful Christmas full of love.
Yes.
So she
Yep.
was withdrawing from the competition.
It's not about winning. We're one neighborhood, and if we can't come together, especially at Christmas, then I don't know if this is the neighborhood I fell in love with.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
I
was
thought that was
great
great.
speech.
Yes. And the Johnsons make things right with everyone. And Joe says, "We just want to be the Johnsons on the jolliest street that ever existed."
Yep. They finally toned it down and decided to be one with the neighborhood.
Yes. And I love how Alan is like kind of pushing Pamela to talk to Ned. He's like,
Yep.
"You need to talk to him."
Yep. That scene with Ned and Pamela was funny.
Yes. She's like, with the nose.
Yep. She's like, what's down here? Oh. Yep. That's a great friendship.
Yes. Alan and Pamela's commentary on Jared and Emily's PDA. That was so cute.
Yep.
I love how Pamela's like, "Look, honey,
Young love.
I love." Oh my gosh. And then they point out their daughter, Helen, hanging out
With
with
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
And I love how they take the selfie with the Polaroid too. Just like,
Yes,
so
that
they're
was
the next
cute.
Jared and Emily, I guess.
Yep, the next Jared and Emily. And to end out the movie, we get the beautiful proposal from Jared with the horse-drawn carriage ride to start off. I loved that proposal.
Me too. And I love that Ned was there and he's
Yeah.
finally, they trade the flowers for the walkie-talkie.
Oh
They
yeah.
switched out the flowers for the walkie-talkie and she let him back into Santa's helpers.
Yes, that was very sweet. And of course, there's the string quartet behind Jared. And he says, "Emily Melrose, I've been in love with you forever, and I will always be in love with you. Will you marry me?"
It was so sweet. Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
And that ring was beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yes.
You did a good job.
Yes, he did. Great job, Jared.
Yeah. And I loved Emily says, another year, another great Christmas on Evergreen Lane. I never asked Santa for Jared to propose to me, but somehow he knew exactly what I wanted. Perfect ending. Now they just need to get married.
We just need to get married. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving into our ratings segment, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 for the plot and script?
I would say a 9.
That's what I gave it to. Yep.
Because
Just
I really liked it, but there was a little bit over the top with the Jolly Johnsons was my
yeah,
only thing.
that was
So
my reasoning too for the plot and script. For chemistry,
I'm gonna give it a 10 for
that's what
chemistry.
I
I
did.
thought the
Yep.
cast was fabulous together. And like I said, there were some people that didn't connect as much to the first one, but watched this one and just said, oh wow, the chemistry, especially between Wes and Lacey, was just
Yep.
really good in this one.
I agree. That's what I gave it to. Christmas feels. I think I know your answer to this, but I'll let you say it anyway.
Oh, all the Christmas fills. I'm gonna go with a 10 or a 12 or a 15.
Well,
It was all the Christmas fills for me.
yep. I gave it 10 out of 10. It was, yeah, totally all Christmas.
All
And I loved it.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep.
And overall.
Overall, I would probably say 9.5.
Okay, yeah, that's what I gave it to because of the Jolly Johnsons just being a little too over the top, but
Yeah.
not enough. It wasn't enough to not make me want to watch the movie.
Yeah, as I've watched it again, there's things that I find that I enjoy a lot more. I think the first time it was just kind of jarring,
Yeah.
the over the top, but as I watch it more,
Mhm.
I like it more the
Yeah.
more I watch it, and I'm catching more things that I like. So
I think you're supposed to feel that way. Like I think we both mentioned earlier on with the Johnsons. I mean, you're supposed to feel like they're over the top because they
yeah.
were.
And you're supposed to be annoyed that Ned did what he did, but in the end,
Yes.
Christmas wins.
Yes.
Evergreen
Fantastic
Lane wins.
job to the entire cast and crew.
Yes, they did an amazing job.
Now we just need a third. Please, Hallmark Channel, give us a third movie.
Yes, let's do it. Let's
Yes.
get Jared and Emily married.
Yes. Yep. And then maybe another one where we see them have a child of their own.
They can do as many as
We can go
they
on and on.
want. I'm all for
Wedding
it.
veil. Well, this was so much fun, Angie. Thank you again for joining me. It's always great having you on.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Nicole.
Of course. And I cannot wait to have you back again in the future.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes. All right, Hallmarkies. I think that wraps up our review of Haul Out the Holly Lit Up. If you enjoyed this episode, you can like this video and share your thoughts on the movie in the comments. If you want to stay up to date on all of my Christmas movie reviews, you can subscribe to this channel and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when new episodes come. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and we will see you next time. We love y'all. Bye.
Bye.